Uh, okay, great. So let me formally welcome you all. Some of you, know me. My name is Ashish Dikshit, and I'm really happy to welcome you all to this new initiative that we are starting called the CGFY Knowledge and Skills Get Together. I'll just explain how the whole thought behind this came up. CGFY Knowledge and Skills. So CGFY stands for Career Guidance for You. I think Shivam, probably, I'm not sure whether we have interacted before, but what we do is in Career Guidance for You, the activities that are primarily we are into career counseling for high school children from the 9th to the 12th grade. That's one of the activities that we are into. Then we also do competency analysis and career counseling for college students, and for working professionals we do competency analysis to help them identify what is their unique ability or distinct forte and what kind of functions they need to focus on. So our work is predominantly in terms of identifying the core potential, whether you are a student, school or college, or a working professional, and to help you, guide you, give you some kind of input so that you can make the most of your careers. So that's the main work that we do. And we have seen that a lot of our students who come, they feel the need to keep in touch with us, so that they sometimes look for motivation, or sometimes they look for guidance, etc. And they look for opportunities to keep in touch. So we just thought that sometimes it gets a little difficult for us to engage everyone individually, the timing, etc. So we thought we'll start a new initiative. Now, this new initiative will be predominantly, so we are saying that we are starting something new. It's once in 15 days. So we are tentatively saying that we will keep it on every alternate Wednesdays. That's our idea. So every alternate Wednesdays, we will have the session from 7 to 8 p.m. And in that session, we are going to take up some topic which is going to add value in terms of the knowledge or in terms of the skills, etc. And see, and of course there will be whatever question answers, etc. So it's a forum where you all can get together. The other idea is that you all can come together by way of different students from different backgrounds, different colleges, different schools. They are all coming together and interacting, etc. And in the process have a nice group of well-wishers who are meeting regularly and furthering each other's careers. So that's the idea. Now, so today is the inaugural session, the launch session. Well, I mean, I was obviously expecting, because there are a lot of registrations, but I know it's a working day. Maybe people are busy traveling or whatever, in the schools, colleges, traveling. So it's fine. But whoever is here, I will try and see to it that we do complete justice to the fact that you are spending an hour with us. We were planning initially to have the session from 7 to 8, but now this week we started a little late, and let's see, we may have to exceed it by about probably 10 minutes. So the topic that we've chosen today is called Emerging Technologies of 2025. Now, you may wonder, why are we talking about technologies so late? I mean, we are in the month of July, but that doesn't matter, because these are emerging technologies and they are expected to have an impact for the next few years, if not decades, on all of us. So I'm going to show some slides, and then so what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about some of the emerging technologies. In fact, the top 10 emerging technologies is what I'm going to talk about. And there may be, I mean, I know, so, since I know some of you here, I know a couple of you are from technical backgrounds, and some of you are from commerce background, and Shilpa, you are sons, both of them, maybe science, maybe commerce. I mean, so you may say that, okay, if I'm going to get into the commerce background, or if I'm going to do business management, or maybe from the arts and humanities side, or those of you who are watching the recording of this, you may wonder, is this topic relevant to me if I am going to be in the commerce background or business management background or arts background or humanities, etc.? The answer is absolutely yes. Now, for that, I'll explain to you how it will be relevant. So let me share my screen and I am going to, okay, I will share my screen. I will, okay, this is the, uh, okay, okay. All right. So, top 10 emerging technologies of 2025, that's what we are going to talk about. And let me uh, uh, quickly to the emerging technology. Does anyone know what's an emerging technology and um, uh, how is it significant? I'm sure unmute. Anyone? Okay, so let me, yeah, I mean, I will anyway continue, but feel free. So it's not a lecture at all. It will be, I would love to make it like an interactive session where you are free to speak or type, etc. So, emerging technology primarily is important because it is either it's either a new technology or it's a significant development in the existing technology. Uh, but the importance of an emerging technology is that it is going to cause some kind of innovation or progress in the society which will alter the way industries function. It will alter the way societies live. It will alter the way individuals live their lives. And therefore, emerging technology is an extremely important, crucial aspect of technology. Now, these are those technologies who are in the laboratories right now. They are not fully commercial, or they are semi commercial, but they are still waiting to come out of the lab. And therefore, when they come out of the lab, when they are actually out there into the market, those students who are studying those subjects or those professionals who are into those areas at the early stage of technology are the ones who are going to really gain over the long term. See, for example, I remember after my engineering and after a few years, late 90s and early 2000, so in the 90s, in 90s, IT, computers was emerging technology. And those professionals or those students who went into IT, computer science, etc., in their 90s, etc., literally, and the early 2000s, etc., they literally are ruling the corporate sector by way of the phenomenal headways that they have made in their individual careers. So if you get into that emerging technology at the beginning, when it is just coming out commercially or even at the R&D stage, you stand really to gain. And therefore, the idea of this session is that if our students, so we get a lot of students who do career counseling, and plus, obviously, there are new students who are also expected in this kind of sessions. So our idea is that if you are able to get a hang of what these technologies are, and if you find them exciting, you can actually do a lot of research on these technologies and you can try and get into these industries so that you will have like a bull run, you can say, over the next few years. So that's the idea of sharing this with you. Okay. Tipping point, all of that is okay. Now, the base, so our team keeps on doing their research, etc., on careers, etc. And this particular presentation is based on the research that has come out by a body called World Economic Forum. They come out with pretty good research. And we would like you all to look at this from a career mindset. So when you are listening to this session, you can look at, how is it going to impact me in terms of my career? Can I ride on this wave? So that's how we are going to look at it. Now, just to give you a little background, okay. Now, if you look at, the industrial revolution, I'm just going a little into the industrial history. We had the first industrial revolution, which started in the 18th century, and that was predominantly about mechanization of production using mechanical engineering, using water and steam power. And that was about invention of a steam engine and power looms. And that was a significant shift of professions of the economy from an agricultural economy to an industrial economy. And therefore, at that time, whoever went into careers related to industrialization got a lot of benefit. And this industrial revolution and its impact continued for many centuries. And therefore, for a lot of time, the era of mechanical engineers actually started from the first industrial revolution. Now, if you look at the second industrial revolution, it was predominantly about electrification. So, introduction of mass production and electricity, which led to large scale manufacturing and large factories, etc. And therefore, soon electrical engineering caught up, and therefore those were the branches. Now, though mechanical engineers and electrical engineers got maximum benefit in that era, all those, whether you are an accountant, whether you are HR, etc., all those who belong to that profession or those industries automatically gain. And that's how you can ride on to the industry which is upcoming. The third industrial revolution predominantly was started in the last century, mid 20th century, and it is predominantly the digital revolution which started the world of computer, internet, and automation, etc. That is what started, and it was predominantly about utilization of electronics and IT. So therefore we saw a lot of consumer electronics, headways in consumer electronics and computers, and the way we worked, etc., completely started changing with the third industrial revolution. And the fourth one, which is still ongoing, is called Industry 4.0. And the fourth industrial revolution is predominantly about fusion of technologies. So third one was IT electronic, but the fourth one. Now the fourth one is blurring the lines between the physical technologies like mechanical, electrical, the digital, like IT, and even biology. And therefore, all of that is blurring to telecommunications, etc. Everything is blurring together. So the industry 4.0 is all about fusion of technologies. Okay. And well, there are a lot of applications, and it's ongoing. So that's still going on right now. Now, so now when we look at the industry 4.0, now I'm going to talk about. I mean, there are many emerging technologies, but these are the top 10 that have come up as per research, and they are classified into various categories. So you see, whenever students talk about which are the upcoming careers, etc., one of the careers that I always tell the students is your environment and sustainable energy is one big area. Okay. And out of these top 10 careers, two of these top 10 emerging technologies, two of them belong to this environment and energy related innovations. Now, so what is energy? Energy is basically clean energy. I mean, you all know that there is a lot of polluting energy and there is clean energy. So clean energy and environment. Environment is about climate change and reducing carbon footprint, etc., etc. That's a big sector where there's a lot of research happening. Lots of dollars are getting spent into research, and very soon we're going to have a lot of careers are going to come up. They are already there, and they're going to really come up in this industry. Now, one of the topmost technologies that has been projected is called structural battery composites. Now, what is the structural so let me just show you the next slide and tell you what is a structural battery composite. So have you heard of autonomous vehicles, electric cars, etc., etc.? I'm sure you all have. You can just type out in your chat box yes or whatever maybe or whatever is your experience. So you have these autonomous cars, etc. Now, structural battery composites are those kind of battery materials which do see normally a material in a vehicle does one job. Okay, yes, thank you. So normally a material in a composite does one job. It will, so if there's a car, then a car may, if any component of a car, let's say the body of the car may do one job of taking the load of the car. Or a component may do one job, but structure or a battery may do a job of just being a battery. But a battery composite means that the battery will do two jobs. It will carry the load as well as it will act as a as a storage device, storage of energy, and therefore it is doing two jobs. Now, the moment a battery starts doing two jobs, it is drastically reducing the weight of the vehicle, whether it's a car or whether it is going to be a drone or whether it is going to be an aeroplane fuselage, etc. And therefore, this technology has got a tremendous amount of potential to revamp the automobile sector, to revamp things which are in motion, because when things are in motion, they need to be as low weight as possible. So by a composite battery, your weight is getting reduced because one component is doing the work of two parts. And therefore, you have less number of parts, and therefore your efficiency goes up. And therefore, this is an industry where there's a lot of research happening. And if you all are inclined towards this, in fact, at the end of it, I'm going to request you all to do research in all these areas. To be very honest, at the end of the presentation, you may get some information, but you may have a lot of questions for which you will need to find answers, right? So, so the aviation sector, the aviation manufacturing, the aerospace sector, the automobile sector, all these sectors are going to get completely revamped because of this research. And therefore, from a career perspective, all are going to be in demand. So asking before the CEs are out, JEs get out, and then everyone is blindly going for computer engineering, computer science, etc., IT. And I keep telling them, okay, it's computer engineering, IT, okay, that's one area, but other areas are also there. If you are interested, please explore them because there are going to be opportunities. So in this particular industry, material science, metallurgy engineering, mechanical engineering, aerospace, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, even applied physics and chemistry, all these subjects are going to be important. So many times, students ask this question, or if I do physics, what career can I get? If I do chemistry, what career can I get? In fact, in today's presentation, there are going to be lots of careers related to chemistry and biology. Okay. And now, something for the commerce students. As a commerce student, feel free to get into a commerce. You can get into marketing, you can get into finance, you can get into any of those roles in these kind of industries. That's how you have to connect it here. But then a little understanding of science and technology will always help you. So this is the first one. Now let me talk about the second one. It's called osmotic power systems. Now it's also blue energy. I don't know. Have you heard of blue energy? If you've heard of it, has anyone heard of blue energy? Okay, you can type yes, no, whatever. Okay, so yeah, okay, no, all right, good. So you will know something more today, blue energy. Now, you must have heard about, so renewable energy is again a big one, okay, a big energy. Sorry, a big sector. So renewable energy is all about renewable and clean energy. Okay, can you tell me what is the source of energy the moment you hear the word renewable energy or clean energy? Can anyone type? When I talk about clean energy or renewable energy, what comes to your mind? Okay. Solar energy. Wonderful. Yes. So solar energy is renewable energy, clean energy. But it is dependent on the sunlight. Every part of the world does not get that amount of sunlight, right? So therefore there is a limitation. Of course, wherever there's a great sunlight, that's a different thing altogether. But otherwise, so therefore it depends on the sun. Now there is another thing called wind energy, if you've heard. So wind energy depends on what about the wind. So these forms of energy are dependent on these external, phenomena. But your osmotic power, it is about the energy that gets created when water with two different concentrations of salt mix with each other. So now where does that happen? Any idea? Where does water with two different concentrations of salt mix with each other? Anyone? So we all know that rivers pour their water into the seas, right? So sea has got certain concentration of salt, and rivers are considered to be fresh water. Yeah, river to sea. Wonderful. Yes, wonderful. So whenever rivers are flowing into the sea, that is where there is a difference in the concentrations of salt. Now, whenever there is a process called osmosis. It's a chemical process, biological process, and whenever a river is mixing with the sea, at those places is predominantly the opportunity to have installations of osmotic power systems. Now, it's a beautiful source of clean energy, renewable energy at a research stage, and therefore this is one area that you can definitely look at. I think sooner or later it is bound to come. I don't know how many years it's going to take, but it's bound to come. Okay, and therefore that's a great area for that one should definitely consider. What kind of degree? So again, sometimes chemical engineers also they have this question. Where do I get jobs, etc. So I think now whether these companies when will they come to your campuses, etc. I'm not aware of all those things. Those answers I don't have. But definitely these technologies are going to come out. And if you are in that line and if you are interested, it is going to help you. So, chemical engineering, civil engineering, environmental, mechanical. I think environmental engineering definitely is going to be big. Mechanical materials, bioengineering, and biotech is a big, big area. Biotechnology, a BTech in biotech or a BTech in bioengineering, which is offered either at the undergraduation level in colleges or IITs or other premier colleges also operate at the post graduation. So, if you have that inclination for bio also along with technology, bioengineering and biotechnology. A lot of careers that I'm going to talk about are related to biotech and bioengineering in the top 10. So that was number two. Okay, number three is advanced nuclear technologies. Uh, okay. Okay, yeah. So advanced nuclear. So some of you will definitely know, right? What's a nuclear technology? This is the process of generating energy or power using nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, so nuclear reactions. Now, currently there are nuclear reactors, but they are very expensive and there are challenges like safety and all those areas. I have not really come across engineers who are saying that, okay, I want to get into nuclear technologies, etc. Because one does not look at those careers. I mean, till the last few years, everyone would say, I want to get into IT. So initially it was Wipro, and TCS and all these companies, Cognizant, etc. And then Google and Microsoft, the product companies, etc. But I don't really hear engineers talking about, okay, I want to get into a nuclear power plant, and that's where I think the balance saturation also happens because if everyone goes into TCS, obviously TCS cannot take everyone, right? And therefore, if we all start looking at exploring the other areas, it's going to really balance out. Um, so significance of this is that the new technologies that are getting developed in nuclear science are predominantly related to making them energy production more safer, more efficient, and reduction of wastage. So again, if you see the impact is towards one is obviously efficiency, but the second is environmental impact, and even the size of the equipment, etc. And therefore, we are slowly moving into the world. So material science and composites, and it's a big area. And therefore, if that's a big area, chemistry definitely again becomes a big area. I've not mentioned it here, but chemistry and chemical engineering, physics is a big area. And, I mean, when we talk about computer science, the companies that come to mind is Google, Microsoft, etc., etc. But these kind of organizations are definitely going to require data scientists, cybersecurity specialists, etc., for protecting their systems, for analyzing data, and helping technologists and management take decisions. So these all sectors are definitely there. So those of you who are from technical background, etc., you need not just correlate computer engineering with the IT sector. There is a huge non-IT sector which is just waiting to give you jobs, provided you have that interest and you have that kind of a focus. Okay. So AI ML, obviously, AI ML is literally everywhere. But yeah, including this one. Yeah. Okay. Physics, chemistry, I think really, I mean, I would love to really have some of you who are passionate about physics or chemistry take up that, do your masters in physics, chemistry, and then you could get into these kind of industries. All right, now the next one, this is energy environment. Now we are going into a area called biotech. Biotech, I'm sure all of you, yeah. So again, there is no one who comes and tells me that, okay, I want to do a BTech in biotechnology. Hardly anyone tells me. So, we may have a career counseling and say, okay, you could look at biotech and say, अरे biotech में scope किधर है, क्या है? Okay, so these questions come, and then individually we have to explain. But then I think what is happening in the world of biotech is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, for all, even commerce grads, arts grads, etc., wanting to get into HR, finance, marketing, etc., look at biotech as a sector, big one. Okay, so there is something called as green nitrogen fixation. Now, anyone has any idea what this is? What is nitrogen fixation? Anyone? It actually impacts us on a day-to-day level. I mean, if nitrogen fixation doesn't happen, you and me will not be able to survive. Any idea what is nitrogen fixation? Okay, so actually science is very interesting. If you take some interest, it's beautiful, I feel. So a nitrogen atmosphere has got almost more than 70% nitrogen, but it is inert, and therefore it cannot be. Nitrogen is required for all living organisms. Okay, and one of the most important organisms is plants. Plants need nitrogen for the production of processes like photosynthesis, etc., which is all the basic life processes for plants, and it is these plants which are giving us food. So we may be non-vegetarians or we may be vegetarians who are exclusively dependent on, and the animals are dependent on plants. So plant food is what is sustaining life on this earth, right? So for that, nitrogen has to be fixed before it can be utilized by the plants. About 100 years back, there was a process called Haber-Bosch process, and that actually started solving problems of food security because it led to manufacturing of ammonia, which has got nitrogen in a form and they started making fertilizers. So ammonia is a very important. This process manufactures ammonia, and ammonia is used for manufacturing of fertilizer. And it is the production of fertilizers that has created this enormous amount of food supply in the world. And it is this food supply which is making you and me, stay alive, right? We are all foodies now. So it's happening because of this process called nitrogen fixation. Now, the thing is the current process. See, many times we talk about energy, we talk about sustainability, but now this food supply is so important for our day-to-day survival. But this whole process, Habeas-Bosch process, is polluting the atmosphere big time. Again, it is polluting. And therefore, climate change is not as easy as it sounds. And therefore, a lot of technologists, researchers, management professionals are going to be, and bureaucrats will be required in this area, and that too very urgently. So this particular process called green nitrogen fixation, it is actually using green methods. What it is doing is, if you see, it is using eco-friendly methods to produce ammonia. It is that. And it's going to replace the current process, not replace, maybe partially it will start taking some amount of load, and it will start producing ammonia in a manner which is eco-friendly. And therefore, it's going to be a huge industry when the technological breakthroughs are achieved. It's going to actually support food security and sustainable architecture. Now, these are going to be these are really, really big areas of research and commercialization, and of course, reduce greenhouse emissions. Now look at the degrees, chemistry grades, all branches of chemistry. I mean, today there was the college professor of one of the colleges in Mumbai was telling me that hardly anyone is choosing chemistry at the BSc level. So students are taking combination of chemistry, physics, or chemistry, bio in the first year, hardly second year. First of all, hardly any graduates are getting into BSc. They feel that BSc मतलब क्या करने का मालूम नहीं. And then if they take BSc chemistry जैसा कोई जा ही नहीं रहा है, उनको मालूम ही नहीं क्या करने का chemistry के साथ. Now, whether inorganic, analytical, physical, electrochemical, any kind of chemistry, no issues at all. You can get into them because they are all going to be required for this industry. Biotech, biotechnology, bioengineering, agricultural engineering, environmental engineering, molecular biology. So all kinds of biology related BScs and MScs. I mean, when I say BSc, it's going to be masters. I mean, these are all high-tech industries, and therefore masters is what you have to do. So masters in biological sciences, it could be biochemistry, could be cell biology, could be, protein engineering, any of these areas, if you get into, you will have definitely good careers. Okay, so is it clear? Are you all getting a hang of what we are speaking? Because since I'm not able to speak to you, and I'm not able to hear you, and I'm not able to see you, and therefore, yeah, okay. So I see one yes. Thank you, Ishita, for being uh, very communicative. And others, if you can just type out whether, yeah, okay, thanks, Shilpa. Yeah, I mean, I just want to know whether you're able to relate to what I'm saying. Yeah, because to be very honest, when the children are in the 11th, 12th, no one is actually having, I will not say no one, but very few parents are having clarity in terms of these kind of research, and therefore, planning careers in that direction. Even postgraduate students, etc. Even PhD. I was talking to some university student, Nanded University students, about a couple of months back. All postgraduates. I was asking them what are the areas, and I mean they even postgraduate students and PhD students are not having ideas of what's the cutting edge research happening. And therefore, when we are at a loss in terms of how to guide our own children, because we are not aware of beyond our, I mean, we are experts in our professions, but there's a lot of stuff happening outside. So yeah, one is green nitrogen. Okay, let's move forward. Next one is about healthcare. Healthcare, what is happening in this area is absolutely mind blowing, almost like science fiction. And it is important for us to really understand what's happening in this area. Okay, healthcare is not only about doctors and nurses and anesthetists and paramedical. Healthcare is a lot about technology. Healthcare administration, an MBA in healthcare is going to be a big, definitely very, very important. Very, very important. Public health. Public health is again a very important subject area, which is approached from the humanities background or developmental studies. So when you do an MA in developmental studies or developmental economics, etc., you could get into healthcare. So there are different modes of getting into healthcare, but for that you have to first know what's happening in that sector. Now, two of these top 10 emerging technologies are impacting healthcare directly. One is called engineered living therapeutics. Now, it is such a phenomenal thing. What is engineered living? So, when antibiotics, now, today what happens is if an antibiotic is injected into the body, what do we say? Oh my God, antibiotics means side effects, hoga, and all of that. So, we take antibiotics because we have to take them, but then, and sometimes you have to complete the dosage, and then the more we take antibiotics, the more we are developing, I mean, the more the bacteria are developing resistances to them, etc., and so on and so forth. So, all those things are there. Now, and you, I mean, you have a tablet of antibiotics and a course, and two people, they may have, two people may have different levels of infection. Okay, a little different level of infection, but both of them may go for the same course, and therefore you are probably taking a higher, and doctors will normally give you a higher course than a lower one. So you end up taking a higher course and all of that, and it's like almost standardized. But your infections are obviously not standardized, right? 200 people will have 100 different levels of infection. So what is this engineered living? That's the beauty of this engineered living therapeutics. Therapy means correction. So what they are doing is they are actually creating engineering this live these live organisms which are like microbes, and they are injected into the body, and once they're injected into the body, they are so smart that they can sense the level of infection, and they can sense the level of infection and change the dose. So it is so beautiful. I'll just tell you what it is. These are all genetically engineered microbes or cells that they sense, they process and respond to disease markers by delivering targeted therapies. So if there are two people, uh, normal antibiotics, both are having the same medicine. But in this case, if you give them an ELT, that is an engineered living therapeutic, what is happening is that they will sense अरे इसमें कितना infection है क्या है और उतना हिसाब से dose they will produce. They will also produce, sense and produce and release. And then once they know that the infection is in control, they will stop it also. So ऐसा नहीं कि 5 दिन का कोर्स, मतलब इंजेक्ट तो किया है, बट 5 दिन लेना नहीं पड़ेगा, मतलब इन द सेंस 3 दिन में शायद हो गया, और मे बी समटाइम्स 5 दिन का दवा लिया, उसमें उसके बाद में अगेन बाद में दूसरा इंजेक्शन लो, तीसरा इंजेक्शन लो, इसमें ऐसा नहीं है. That same dose will keep on generating and producing more and more medicine as per the infection varying, as per the varying levels of infection. So I'm just giving you a sense of what it is. I mean, it is mind blowing in terms of personalized treatment. Today we are talking about everything. One of the things that is not happening is everything is getting, shirts are getting personalized, but your medicine, your medications are not personalized. How cool is that? So, so this could mean personalized treatment of various, diseases like your IBDs and infections and cancer and all kinds of diseases. So there would be a big impact on all of these. So the healthcare is obviously going to be impacted big time for this. And again, you will require, I mean, for healthcare, biomedical, bioengineering, chemical, biologists, so masters in biology, cell biology, and synthetic biology, virology, immunology, and all of that. So sciences, technology, obviously, sciences and engineering, obviously, they get direct applications in terms of direct work, but the other branches, you can join the industry, perform supporting roles, and thrive with the industry. Okay, now let me move on to the other emerging technology, which is in the healthcare sector, which is called the GLP, which stands for glucagon-like peptides. Okay, now what is this? Glucagon-like peptides. Now, if there are old people, we must have heard about things कि आजकल क्या हो रहा है, lifestyle diseases are going up. So someone we have come across or we have heard कि किसी को Alzheimer हुआ है, किसी को Parkinson हुआ है. But the thing is, what is this Alzheimer and Parkinson? इसमें डर क्यों लगता है? Because there is no cure. They are neurodegenerative. Now, what is neurodegenerative? It means that the neurons are getting degenerated, and there is no way that one is able to stop the degeneration, and therefore there is no medicine for that, and that's so sad, right? So, first of all, old age, and on top of old age, these kind of things, it's a huge challenge not only for the patients but also for the family members and the caregivers. Now, there is a ray of hope, a huge ray of hope for all these treatments for all these diseases because these GLPs, now GLP typically, is also a hormone in the body. Now, what is a GLP medicine? Now, this GLP medicine is basically mimicking that hormone and therefore it is creating cure for diseases like diabetes, etc. So GLP was originally basically for obesity control on diabetes, uska ye medicine hai GLP. But now it has been found out that the GLP hormone is also secreted in the brain, some like memory related functions and all of that in the brain. And because of that, it is actually possible to have for GLP-1s for Alzheimer and Parkinson. Now, huge amount of research is happening. And here, if you see, careers are at various levels. So first of all, if you see, one is at the research level where there is a lot of research breakthroughs required. So you require a lot of B.Pharm graduates who are studying pharmacology, biochemistry, obviously, molecular biology, etc. So for research, you require those grads. For clinical trials, you require not only these graduates, but we also require doctors. We also require biostatisticians, I mean, these are the students who are studying IT with bio. So data analytics with biology. So we are clearly, if you see, each and every technology is interdisciplinary. So we are in a world of interdisciplinary studies. So bioscience statisticians are data analysts using biological data. So bio plus data analysis, that's at the clinical research professionals. So that's at the clinical research stage. And then, of course, for manufacturing, you require engineers. So then, for manufacturing R&D, you require engineers and science graduates, etc. Again, chemistry is one of the subjects. And then for commercialization, you require people from marketing, you require people from nutrition, business management, healthcare management, etc., etc., etc. So again, this is a big industry. Yeah. Any questions so far? Is it getting too heavy? Yeah, we still have some time. I think we are going to go till about 8:10 or so. So we still have about 10 minutes to go. Okay, let me just. Okay, no questions? Okay, very good. So no questions means I'm assuming that you are all with me and you're getting a sense of what we're talking about. The next technology, I think it is number 7, is yeah, okay, thanks, Shilpa. I got your reaction. Okay. The next technology that we are talking about is called um, autonomous biochemical sensing. Another wonderful, wonderful one. Okay, now let me see. There is one more message. Okay, there's something. Okay, thank you so much for a nice message, Ishita. I'm happy that you are finding it interesting and you are curious to know more. All right. Okay. Now, what is autonomous? So when people ask this question, that okay, that I just thought a lot of people say, अभी आजकल ना, a lot of loose comments are made. अरे आजकल ना इंजीनियरिंग में स्कोप नहीं है, इंजीनियर्स का टाइम खत्म हो गया, एआई आ गया. अरे एआई आ गया तो एआई ईएलटी करेगा क्या? सो पीपल से अरे साइंस में तो करियर्स नहीं है. जैसे कॉमर्स में क्या है, सीए बनो, आईसीडब्ल्यू बनो, सीएफए करो, इतना ही. इसके बियॉन्ड किसी को ये नहीं मतलब सोचते नहीं हम लोग. कॉमर्स करके हम कटिंग एज इंडस्ट्री, साइंटिफिक इंडस्ट्रीज में जाएंगे, वहां पे बहुत बढ़िया करियर्स होने वाले हैं. Because those industries are going to give you jobs for probably the next 20. These kind of industries may give you jobs for the next 20 years. Who knows? I mean, I'm not making any promises. Who am I? But I'm just saying that कम से कम 20 साल या 10 साल तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी आने के बाद चलेगा. तो पहले तो R&D, उसके बाद में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, तो उसको मैच्योर होने के लिए, उसको ऑब्सोलेट होने के लिए कुछ तो साल लगेंगे, राइट? सो यू कैन बी फ्रॉम अ कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड, बिकम एन एचआर मैनेजर इन दिस काइंड ऑफ कंपनीज. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, एंड इसको ट्राई एंड रिक्रूट हाई क्वालिटी टेक्निकल गाइज. तो तुम्हारा जॉब कोई नहीं छीनेगा. बोलते हैं ना, एचआर हमारा जॉब छीन लेगा. अभी ये इंडस्ट्री में आप एचआर का काम करोगे तो एआई तुम्हारा जॉब कैसा छीनेगा? नहीं छीनेगा ना. यू विल, सो देयरफॉर, या, look at it like that. Okay, autonomous biochemical sensing, what is it? As the word explains, autonomous is automatic. Biochemical sensing, so sensing means sense karna. Biochemical means anything related to biology or chemistry. If you see bio and chemistry, I mean, someone has said, some great scientist or a futurist has said that this particular century belongs to biology and interdisciplinary biology. And it is so true. ओके, सो और हम लोग क्या करते हैं, इंजीनियरिंग बनने का है ना, तो पीसीएम लेने का, बायो छोड़ देने का, ऐसा हम लोग करते हैं, बिकॉज somehow, that's how we are programmed, right? I mean, that's how we normally think. We are thinking at a very day to day level. थोड़ा सा हमको आगे जाके सोचना पड़ेगा, देखना पड़ेगा. Okay, so what is it? Self-operating systems that detect and two things basically, healthcare and environment are going to get revamped. So healthcare, environment, agriculture, they are automatically sensing and detecting and analyzing signals for diagnosis, monitoring, and application. So these autonomous biochemical sensing materials, glucose monitors आजकल, we have those who are have to monitor their sugar levels, have used those glucose monitors. Or there are so many. We are in the world of wearable. We are using wearables, right? Wearables technology, wearable diagnostics, etc. So this technology can, and wearable is a consumer product. Glucose monitors consumer product. So इसके तो applications, industry, मार्केट साइज तो बहुत बहुत बड़ा है, और उसमें कंपटीशन, मार्केटिंग, सब कुछ आने वाला है. सो so healthcare is going to be again a very big commercial playing field for those who are getting into this kind of technology. Environment, we have to sense pollutants in the environment automatically, and then have some corrective measures, etc., etc. Agriculture, so again, agriculture, in that what you have to track is the nutrition, nutrient quality of soil. These days we are saying that the soil is losing its nutrition. So if the soil is losing nutrition, how will the plants get nutrition, how will the food get nutrition, and how will you and me get nutrition? So these are sensors which will actually track in real time, efficiently, at a lower cost, at a mass level, and getting made with minimum carbon emissions. Wonderful sensors which will track the soil requirement, the nutrition requirements of soils, etc., etc. Even defense, if you are going tracking, we all know Operation Sindoor and all of that which happened. So these sophisticated tracking devices, etc., radars, all of that. So biochemical sensing is getting applications there. So if you see, just look at the numerous applications. So I'm really saying that, let's really come outside this mindset कि इंडस्ट्री मीन्स आईटी. अभी आईटी छोटा हो रहा है, आईटी में रिसीजन हो रहा है, एफएमसीजी है, कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल्स है. Please look at science and technology as an industry. That's really what I'm trying to give a message here. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, degrees. I think by now you must have guessed that chemistry, biotechnology, all branches of engineering, including computer science and software, okay, data science, robotics, mechatronics. Just the other day, someone was asking me, mechatronics करके क्या होगा? He had got into good school. तो saying mechatronics को तो पता ही नहीं. मैं किसको भी पूछ रहा हूँ ना mechatronics, बोलते कि नहीं mechatronics का मालूम नहीं क्या होने वाला है. So it's not obviously known, but mechatronics is the intersection of instrumentation, mechanical, electronics, etc. It's going to be used, and now biology. Okay, so if you were looking at biochemical sensing, so wonderful opportunities for everyone. So I don't think we are in a scenario of ये line में scope है कि नहीं. It is about if I'm getting into this line, the question that we should be saying is, I'm going to take this line. Which industry is going to have scope? We ask the wrong way. We say, okay, which line is going to have a scope? Will BSc have a scope? BCom? In fact, if you see, all colleges are coming out with very fancy degrees because they are not finding students. But by decreasing the seats in BSc, how is this going to happen? How is it going to happen, right? And therefore, the question is not कि BSc में scope है कि नहीं. Question is BSc करने के बाद कौन सा industry में scope है. All right, let's continue. Okay, another one related to biology called nanozymes. So you can probably now guess that enzymes and nano. Now, what is nano? Anyone? Nano? Nanotechnology. Nano is small, 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 miniature, small, small, small. Very, very small. Sorry. Yes, small, you're right. So nano is very small. So small, nano-sized enzymes. So what is nanozymes? So nanozymes are nanomaterials that mimic enzyme functions. Applications are medicine, industry, and environment. Again, so if you see environment, healthcare, industry, the same function, the same industries, but environment and healthcare are two really big ones that we can definitely we should see them. Yeah. Will you be providing some inputs about careers after doing arts? There's a question here. Will you be providing some inputs about careers after doing arts? Okay. So if you are looking at that, okay, I will give you a specifically input for you as a part of today's session. I mean, there are going to be number of sessions as a part of today's session. Today's session is not designed to talk about careers after doing arts, but yes, specifically since you have this question, I'll address this question at the end of this topic. All right. So yeah, okay. So we are basically talking about nanozymes. Now, again, they are going to have significant implication. Okay, I see one more question. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, so we are again talking about targeting healthcare sector and creating various synthetic enzymes which are more effective, which are more effective in terms of treating diseases which today are not easily curable. So curing of disease, especially those ones which are not easily curable, is what is going to happen through this industry, and therefore obviously it's going to be a very, very important industry in the world of pharma and healthcare, etc. Okay. Secondly, the same enzymes which are helping us uh, cure, let's say, human bodies. They are the same ones or similar ones which are also curing the environment of its pollutants. And therefore, a lot of commonality between environment and biology. Okay. So these are definitely two very, very growing sectors. Okay. And so again, now what are the degrees? So again, okay, chemistry. I mean, by now you must have guessed that in most of the emerging technologies, chemistry and biology are two very important areas of study, along with biotechnology, biomedicine, bioengineering, material science and engineering. I mean, these are normally, you see, when students are asked about, how are you going to do the selection of engineering seats, they'll say, "Arey, wo to depends on my rank. So if I get IT or computers, I'll take that. If not, next क्या mechanical, electrical देखेगा. Otherwise, I'll change. I'll go. I mean, that's how one normally looks at. So those of you who are planning careers in science and engineering, especially, please study the branches of engineering and choose wisely which branch of engineering. Don't just go by IT and computer science, because there could be a saturation there, in the IT industry. But therefore, choose the branches you can, or you use your IT for these other industries. But nanotechnology is a combination of material science, chemistry, mechanical engineering. It's an interdisciplinary one. It's about small miniature sized particles and technology required for processing that kind of small bit sized particles. That's nanotech, a very, very high tech industry, a very high tech area of research. And I think I'm coming to the now the last two emerging technologies which I have to talk about. Okay, we still have 7 minutes. Yes, and I'm willing to go beyond for those of you who want to ask questions and interact. So now this is like pure IT, okay? But it's an IT at a different level. So digital trust and intelligence. This is the head under which we are talking about IT. So the moment we talk about trust, you must have guessed we are talking about cyber security and stuff like that. So there are two technologies we're going to talk about. One is collaborative sensing, and second is generative watermarking. Okay. So let me tell you what is collaborative sensing. Now, see, we have sensors, right, which sense. Let me take an example of autonomous vehicle. What is V2V or V2I community? I'll just give you one example so you get an idea of what is collaborative sensing all about. So a V2V means vehicle to vehicle communication. So, tomorrow all of you must be aware that Tesla has been launched in India now, and a lot of electric vehicles are there now in India, and slowly, they are becoming more and more smart and more intelligent with the development of IoT, Internet of Things. So with the development of Internet of Things and all of that, you have, let's say, both of us are traveling. Let's say you and me are both going to a friend's party, and I am in my electric vehicle, autonomous vehicle. You are in your autonomous vehicle, and these two vehicles are, and because we are not driving it ourselves, this is not science fiction. This is real. San Francisco has got a lot of autonomous taxis already flying. And very soon, I'm sure it will happen in countries like ours. How soon, I don't know, but very soon. So, if my autonomous vehicle is talking to yours, we are both going to our common friends party. We'll say that. So, my vehicle will tell your vehicle, oh my God, this particular route, there is a lot of traffic. And on this road, it's in Mumbai, a lot of floods are there, water logging here and traffic here. So, route number C is what I am taking. And you can see if you can take that particular route number C, and your vehicle will then find out and say, okay, yes, route number C I will take, and avoid waterlogging and avoid traffic. So imagine vehicle talking to vehicle. That is collaborative sensing. They are sensing floods, they are sensing traffic, they are sensing pollution, they are sensing a whole lot of things that you want them to sense, and then they are communicating with each other and making life easier for you and me. Like that, they can sense smart cities, they can sense pollution levels, they can activate certain processes which are cleanup mechanisms, etc., etc. Smart devices, smart homes. Smart homes can actually, I'm sure all of that is going to happen. There is a lot of research happening on developing a robot which will be like a house help. So today we talk about having cooks, and we talk about having maids and cooks and cleaners at home. There will be one robo who will cook food for you. That same robo will be your like a cleaning maid. That robo will wash your plates, wash your dishes, it will wash your clothes, etc., do whatever. And slowly it will sense and it will understand. It will also switch off. It will know, okay, yeah, so and so okay, so the children require very high AC, and therefore let me switch on the AC and maintain a temperature of 18 degrees. And the parents may require 22 degrees, and the grandparents may require 24 degrees. So all sorts of things can happen through this. So collaborative sensing is all about Internet of Things. It's a huge industry, huge. And finally, the 10th one is called generative watermarking. we all know about deep fakes, right? Today, our voice can get cloned, our face can get cloned, and I mean, it's very scary, right? So there are a lot of threats like cyber security threats, etc., etc. Now, generate you don't even know whether a content has been made by human beings or whether it is AI generated, whether it has got a good intent or whether it has got a malicious intent, etc. And you may Google and get it, and you may believe, and then you may take some decisions, right? So generative watermarking means it is that kind of digital watermarking which are embedded into AI generated media. So if an AI is generating some media, it will have an embedded digital watermark which you and me may not be able to see with our eyes, but which will be identified by our devices. So our device will know that this is AI generated without a watermark, and therefore it is not authentic, and it will say this data is not authentic, or it could be deep fake or whatever. And it will say that, okay, this one is digitally watermarked, it belongs to so and so, the intellectual property belongs to so and so company. It is safe to go through this content because it is digitally watermarked. So digital watermarking, so that's called generative watermarking. So generative watermarking will fight misinformation. It will fight deep fakes. It will create a more safer society. It will create more a better legal infrastructure environment for one to take legal decisions and regulations, etc., etc. So that generative watermarking for you, and it will require, now this is hardcore computer science. This industry is completely like computer science. So computer science, cyber security, data analytics, AI, statistics, and all of that. So a lot of students also are, today you have a BTech in artificial intelligence, a BTech in uh, data analytics, etc. Some students tell me that, okay, I'm not going to go for computer science, but I will go for a BTech in AI because that's the in thing, or I'll go for a BTech in cybersecurity. My only answer there is that computer science is like the vast body of knowledge, and it has got number of branches. Cybersecurity is one of them, IoT is one of them, data science is one of them, and so on and so forth. And therefore, when you study computer science at the undergraduate level, you can keep all the options open. You can do your specialization at the post-graduation level or the PhD level. All right. So these were the top 10 emerging technologies that I wanted to tell you all. And the whole idea of this presentation was to provide awareness amongst the students studying in high school, students studying in colleges, and recent fresh graduates who are all planning their careers, and parents who are also thinking about and trying to support careers for their children. So we have just made an attempt to make you aware of something which is really vast, something which very few people have a clue about because it's all at the R&D stage. But I think as responsible students and parents who are trying to make career choices, this was an attempt to help you get some awareness. This presentation would probably throw more questions in your mind. And the whole idea is that you can start doing research on these areas if you have found it interesting. Even if you have not found it interesting, research these areas and see whether you would want to make careers in these industries, because they could be the industries of the near future or the distant future. So that's it from my side. And now the floor is open for questions. And since there is already a question that has come up related to careers after arts, I'm going to take that one right now, and then I will answer whatever other questions are there. Okay. So, ma'am, your question was, I'm assuming that you're a parent, but if you're a student, well, right now I cannot make out. But careers after arts. Let me just see your question once again. I'm just looking at the question right now. Okay. Careers after doing arts. Okay. Careers after arts is a separate topic by itself. First, I'll just connect it with today's topic. I mean, see, it's a very generic question. If you tell me in what standard you are or your child is, then I can give a more precise answer. So either you can unmute and speak, or so that see, I mean, careers after arts is a 1 hour presentation, right? So if you can unmute and speak and let me know what exactly you are looking for, I can answer. But broadly, a broad, if the question is broad, the answer will be broad and generic. Career after arts means you can get into psychology, you can get into economics. So you can get into psychology and become a personal counselor. You can get into psychology and get into HR. You can get into economics and become a researcher. You can get into English literature and become a professor. You can get into English literature and get into media. Okay, you can get into all sorts of areas. But ma'am, if you can actually tell me what background you come from and what is your specific requirement, I'll give a very specific answer. Yeah, and I think some of you now, and those of you who don't have questions, I will like to thank you all for attending. I just want to tell you all that we are into information and knowledge dissemination. We're going to have these sessions every alternate Wednesdays, and therefore stay tuned. Come and join our community. Come and join our basically the community and uh, be in touch with what we are doing so that you can keep attending the sessions. At least initially, we intend to have these sessions free of cost. Later on, we don't know what shape it will take, but initially the sessions will be the first 10 sessions definitely are going to be free of cost. So I'm going to request you all uh, get your family members, your children, or your parents, or your friends from Mumbai, from various parts of the country, or even other countries, etc. So get more and more of your friends and family members to be a part of the sessions so that we can have a great knowledge and skills sharing get together. And those of you who are not clear about what careers to choose, we are into career counseling, competency analysis, testing, finding your distinct fortes, etc. So those of you who want to know what is the best career for you, what is the best education for you, what is the best function for you, we do that, professionally, regularly from our office at Mumbai. So if you're from Mumbai, you can visit our office. If you're from outside Mumbai, feel free to be in touch with us on Zoom and Google Meet, etc. So that's what we are into. Thank you very much. So, ma'am, Sneha, ma'am, will you like to ask me very specifically at what level are you talking about? After 10th, after 12th, or after PG, or what exactly?
Yeah, sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible to you? Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am. You are
Yeah, so good
audible.
evening. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Good
yeah,
evening.
good evening, sir. Yeah, it was a very insightful session. I mean, from the AI perspective. But the question that I asked it is, I won't be able to narrow down on it. Why? I mean, what am I focusing exactly? See, actually, I'm an English trainer at present, and the way there are careers for commerce and science students, I'm sure definitely. The path for art students has also widened now compared to what it was few decades ago. So I would be interested to know in context of AI, what is the scope for art students? Because since I also train various type of students for English speaking, I just want some insights into it. Careers for art students in context of AI. How
Careers
can
for
they be
art
more
students in
productive?
context for AI. Okay. Again, see, it's a very, very generic question. I will keep it very simple because careers for in arts is
Hmm.
a proper 1 hour talk, probably one of the talks that we would have.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
just getting an idea that if this is going to be a requirement, we may look
Yeah.
at careers for art students in the context of AI will be a separate presentation by itself. But at this point of time, what I can tell you is
Yeah.
that uh, when it comes to, I'm going to just take one profession and answer this question, right? Because otherwise, it's going to be a 1 hour
All right.
session. Yeah. So, and we will have this. I'm going to tell my team, and our team members are also present, and we are taking a note of this one. Okay. So, let me just give you one
Sure.
simple example. Uh, okay. if I'm going to through arts, if and you talked about English, so one of the biggest areas for someone in English is teaching. Like you have there are a whole lot of universities that
Hmm.
are there in the country today, and each of these universities and
True.
colleges has an English department. Each and every school, whether it's a CBSE or an ICSE or a state level or a IGCSE or an IB international school has got English departments, and therefore one of the huge areas for English is getting into formal education. Now, AI is one area
Right.
where teachers are at the receiving end because students are using AI for answers. Now, my immediate
Hmm.
response here would be that if you are able to use AI as a part of your teaching methodology to make your content more engaging. That I can see as the immediate benefit of using AI in as far as careers in English as a profession are concerned. Because see today children don't come into children don't
Right.
pay attention in the class, or in college they would attend just for attendance. But if a teacher is able to make a subject interesting, that is the biggest challenge for teachers. How do I make my subject engaging for students? And one of the answers is AI. So
True.
if you can learn AI
True.
tools and use them for improving your engagement skills in a classroom, I think that will do wonders. So I'm just giving you one answer. Like right now, there will be
True.
very, very specific answers for whether it's psychology. In economics, for example, I'll give one more. You can use AI for doing cutting edge research. There are a lot of, we just know about Chat GPT and we know about Google Gemini or a Bard, but then there are so many others. Some of them are very good for research. So if you are an economist, you can use the specific AI tools which are good in research and then become a better researcher. So AI is needs to be something that we all ride on. All right. Anything
All
else? But
right.
yeah, we will probably
Thank you
have a
so
session
much,
on
sir.
this later on. Thank you very much, Sneha ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You say even though I'm a commerce student, it was wonderful. Okay. Opportunity to know about the different fields which I was aware of. So thank you very much. And Shishita, thanks for your message. And my suggestion to you will be that even if you're a commerce student, you look at, don't restrict yourself as a career, as a professional from the commerce field. Actually do research on these areas and try and see what companies are there in this area. And that's where you will get access to more jobs, because these are the industries which we learn today, which are actually going to provide jobs in the coming future when you graduate and postgraduate, etc. Thank you very much. And I think if there are no more questions, we will stop the meeting. And I would definitely, I am not sure whether we are going to share the recording, but if our team decides to share the recording, I would suggest that you can share this recording with the students. I think better would be if they come again. We may have this session once again after maybe a couple of months or so. So please. Thank you, Shilpa. Thanks a lot. Please, I would invite you all to attend the session, which is going to happen on the next Wednesday. Topic will be different. It will be announced in our community and it will be announced on our social media. So please popularize the topic so that more and more students and your family members take the benefit of this initiative. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Wish you a good night.
Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you, Shilpa.